It's a typical morning in Warsaw. This is where the city's emergency medical services are coordinated. A fleet of 70 ambulances is waiting to be dispatched. So far, it's been pretty calm, just a few traffic accidents. Then the squad we've been allowed to film gets its first alarm call of the day. On the way, we hear that a child has fallen from a swing. Fortunately, it's not serious, and so it goes for the next few hours. Again and again, we encounter leżaks, the slang term the paramedics use for helpless, drunk people. They try to avoid picking them up for fear they'll vomit in the ambulance, putting it out of service for at least 12 hours. Only 1 out of 4 calls turns out to be a real emergency.
We drive like mad to save lives. And when we get there, the supposedly unconscious person is walking around all jolly and fine. And he called us because he didn't manage to get to the doctor.
It's hard to get a doctor's appointment. Our health system in Poland is not working. You can't get hold of a doctor at night or on weekends, and you have to wait months for an appointment. So the quickest way is to call the emergency services.
Everyone knows this, so when people call the dispatchers for less than serious situations, it's just viewed as a trivial offense. The head of Poland's medical association blames the situation on failed healthcare policies. He says they remind him of the communist era.
Poland has changed in the past 20 years. For the good, of course. No one denies that. But the healthcare system is getting worse and worse. It's the last enclave of the socialist system. It can't go on like this.
The situation was highlighted in March when help came too late for 2-year-old Dominika. Dispatchers decided it was not necessary to send an ambulance in response to her parents' call, and the girl later died of a viral infection. The newspaper headline read, "Prime Minister Tusk, get to work. Children are dying in Poland." There's a shortage of doctors throughout the country, such as here in the Children's Hospital in Sosnowiec near Katowice. Chief anesthesiologist Lydia Latoszyńska is 70 years old, and she considers it normal to still be working full-time. She claims she has to if she doesn't want to end up living in poverty.
My husband is dead and I'm on my own. My pension is not enough for me to pay the rent and live a normal life. It's far too small.
The doctor has been working for 40 years. She says her work keeps her young. But when we ask if there's a successor in sight to care for the premature babies, she just shrugs.
No, that's another problem. There are no young doctors in this hospital. We don't even have trainees. For years, we haven't been able to find doctors to care for the babies. It's always been like this.
Her colleague Jerzy Walecki at Warsaw's Hospital of the Ministry of the Interior agrees. He's already passed his 70th birthday, and he's still working 10 hours a day. He also claims his pension is too small and that he wants to keep on working for his patients' well-being too. Walecki tells us older doctors are more experienced, more empathetic, and more knowledgeable. We ask him about a possible successor.
I'm ashamed to say this, we don't have a replacement. There are fewer and fewer of us. The young people are leaving and the hospitals are forced to hire pensioners.
On his ward, we see only a few young faces. Most of Poland's younger doctors are working in German or British hospitals. This infuriates Walecki immensely.
It's so unfair. We trained the young doctors for free. They didn't pay a single zloty for their education. And then they leave and find positions abroad, when they should be staying in Poland. It's very frustrating. I understand their economic reasons. They earn a lot more abroad. But I resent it. Life is so brutal.
To hear more about the current situation, we meet up with medical students at an oncology ward at the University Hospital in Katowice. All three are finishing their studies this year. And what they tell us confirms Dr. Walecki's fears. All the students plan to go abroad. Some already have contracts, and the foreign language is not a problem.
I studied in Hanover for a year, and I learned German there.
Of course, it's about the money. I want to have a family, and I don't want to have to struggle financially. I'm going to study there to make a better life. That's easier in Germany than in Poland. Here I'd have to work much harder.
I'm going to Germany for my specialization. I'll get a top-quality education and become a good neurologist there. We'll see what happens after that.
Just as we finish filming in Warsaw, the emergency dispatchers call out a major alarm. Ambulances go speeding to the site of a big road accident. The paramedics and doctors have their hands full. Luckily, they've arrived on time. But in Poland these days, that's not a given. Of all European countries, only Albania currently has fewer doctors per capita. 1/3 of doctors here are over 60. If they all retired now, the country's healthcare system would break down completely.